Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. This coin marked the return of something America hadn't seen in decades. When it appeared, it wasn't just another dollar, it was a statement. Heavy, bold, and impossible to ignore, the 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin arrived at a moment when the United States was redefining itself, both on Earth and beyond it. Today, we're uncovering why this coin still captures attention, why collectors keep searching for the right examples, and why not all 1971 Eisenhower dollars are created equal. To understand this coin, you have to step back into the early 1970s. The United States had just gone through massive change. The space race had reached its peak with the Apollo missions, the Vietnam War was reshaping public opinion, and the nation was adjusting to the loss of one of its most respected military leaders and presidents, Dwight D. Eisenhower. When the U.S. Mint decided to bring back the $1 coin, it chose to honor him. This was the first U.S. dollar coin issued since the peace dollar of 1935. For over 35 years, Americans had lived without a circulating dollar coin. So when the Eisenhower dollar debuted in 1971, it felt historic. It was large, solid, and commanding, very different from modern dollar coins people know today. On the front of the coin, Eisenhower's portrait carries a sense of authority and calm leadership. This isn't a dramatic or exaggerated image. It's steady and composed, reflecting the general who led Allied forces in World War II and the president who guided the country through the Cold War. The design choice alone made this coin instantly meaningful to an entire generation. Flip the coin over and the story expands even further. The reverse design shows an eagle landing on the moon, holding an olive branch. This image wasn't imagined, it was inspired directly by the Apollo 11 mission insignia. That makes this coin one of the few pieces of U.S. currency directly connected to space exploration. It represents not just national strength, but human achievement beyond Earth. The year 1971 is especially important because it was the very first year of issue. First-year coins almost always carry special collector interest, and the Eisenhower dollar is no exception. These coins were struck in large numbers, but that doesn't mean high-quality examples are common today. Most 1971 Eisenhower dollars entered circulation or were stored improperly. They picked up bag marks, scratches, dull surfaces, and edge wear. The large size of the coin made it especially vulnerable to contact marks, even before it ever reached the public. As a result, truly sharp, clean examples are much harder to find than many people expect. Another layer of intrigue comes from the different versions produced that year. Some were intended for circulation, while others were made specifically for collectors. Subtle differences in finish, strike quality, and overall appearance can dramatically change how desirable a coin becomes. To the untrained eye, they may look similar. To collectors, the differences are everything. Then there are the striking quirks. The Eisenhower dollar is known for strike weakness in certain areas, especially on the eagle and Eisenhower's hair. Coins with unusually strong detail stand out immediately. When collectors find one with crisp features and original luster, interest spikes fast. Errors also play a role. Some 1971 Eisenhower dollars show off-center strikes, double details, or planchet issues. These aren't damage, they're minting mistakes that escaped quality control. Error coins are limited by nature, which makes them especially attractive to specialists. Beyond the technical side, this coin carries emotional weight. For many Americans, it represents the early 1970s, a time of transition, uncertainty, and innovation. It connects a World War II hero with the space age in a single design. Few coins manage to bridge generations like that. Another reason this coin remains popular is its physical presence. Unlike modern dollar coins, the Eisenhower dollar feels substantial. When people hold one, they immediately notice the weight and size. That tactile experience keeps interest alive, even among non-collectors. Over time, public misunderstanding has also shaped its story. Many people assume all Eisenhower dollars are common and worth only face value. That belief causes high-quality examples to be overlooked, mishandled, or spent. As years pass, that neglect quietly reduces the number of premium survivors. Collectors today look closely at surface preservation, strike strength, originality, and eye appeal. A 1971 Eisenhower dollar that checks all the right boxes becomes far more than just an old coin, it becomes a serious collectible. Now comes the part everyone waits for. When 1971 Eisenhower $1 coins appear at major auctions, prices vary widely based on version, condition, and rarity. Circulated examples typically sell for modest amounts, but high-grade uncirculated coins and special collector issues have achieved auction prices ranging from several $100s to several $1,000s, with exceptional specimens selling for even higher amounts depending on demand. That's the legacy of the first Eisenhower dollar: history, leadership, space exploration, and collecting all rolled into one powerful coin. Top 2. Today many people have held it without giving it a second thought. Some tossed it into a drawer. Others spent it without hesitation. Yet the 1974 Eisenhower $1 holds far more beneath its surface than most people ever realize. This coin sits at a unique point in American history, quietly bridging leadership, space exploration, and the final years of an era that would never return. By 1974, the United States was no longer riding the high of the moon landing. The country was facing political uncertainty, economic pressure, and a changing national identity. Inflation was rising, confidence was shaken, and Americans were beginning to rethink what money meant. And during this uncertain moment, the Eisenhower dollar continued to exist, solid, unchanged, and largely misunderstood. The Eisenhower $1 was created to honor Dwight D. Eisenhower, a man associated with strength, strategy, and calm leadership. By the time the 1974 issue was released, Eisenhower's image had already become a familiar sight on American coins. But familiarity doesn't always mean insignificance. Sometimes it means people stop looking closely, and that's where collectors find opportunity. The portrait on the front of the coin carries a quiet authority. Eisenhower isn't dramatized. There's no exaggerated emotion. Instead, the design reflects steadiness, discipline, and experience. For many collectors, this portrait captures the essence of mid-20th century American leadership better than any photograph ever could. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most powerful designs in U.S. coinage history. An eagle descending toward the lunar surface, clutching an olive branch. This image wasn't chosen for decoration. It was directly inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, permanently linking this coin to humanity's first steps on the moon. Very few circulating coins in the world can claim a direct connection to space exploration. By 1974, this design had already proven itself iconic. But the way it appears on each coin can vary dramatically. Strike quality matters. Some examples show sharp feather detail and crisp lines, while others appear soft or flat in key areas. These differences weren't intentional, they were the result of production realities, worn dies, and massive output. The large size of the Eisenhower dollar worked against it in many ways. Coins stored in bags often collided with each other, creating contact marks even before reaching the public. This means many coins that were technically never circulated still show visible surface marks. As a result, truly clean, high-grade examples are far less common than mintage numbers might suggest. Another fascinating aspect of the 1974 Eisenhower $1 is how unevenly it was treated. Some coins were spent heavily. Others sat untouched in bank vaults. Some were pulled aside by collectors, while many were ignored entirely. This uneven survival pattern is exactly what creates value differences decades later. Collectors also pay attention to subtle characteristics. The texture of the fields, the sharpness of Eisenhower's hair, the definition of the eagle's wings, and the presence or absence of original luster all matter. A single detail can separate an average coin from a standout example. Then there are the unexpected finds. Some 1974 Eisenhower dollars exhibit mint errors such as off-center strikes, weak rims, die cracks, or unusual planchet issues. These aren't post-mint damage, they're production anomalies that escaped detection. Error coins add an entirely different layer of excitement, because each one is unique. Public perception has played a huge role in shaping this coin's market. For decades, many people believed Eisenhower dollars were too common to matter. That belief caused countless coins to be mishandled, cleaned, or spent. Ironically, That very neglect helped reduce the number of premium survivors. As time moves forward, nostalgia begins to take over. The Eisenhower dollar represents an era before digital payments, before tap-to-pay, before money became invisible. It reminds people of a time when currency felt physical, solid, and permanent. That emotional connection is something collectors understand very well. The 1974 issue also sits close to the end of large-size circulating dollar coins. Not long after, the United States shifted toward smaller dollar designs, changing the feel of American coinage forever. That makes the Eisenhower dollar part of a closing chapter, a final statement of size and weight before a new philosophy took over. Today, collectors look at these coins differently. They study survival rates, condition rarity, and historical importance rather than just mintage totals. A well-preserved 1974 Eisenhower $1 can stand out dramatically when placed next to dozens of worn examples. Now for the part everyone waits for. When 1974 Eisenhower $1 coins appear at major auctions, results depend heavily on condition, strike quality, and special characteristics. Circulated examples generally sell for modest premiums, but high-grade uncirculated coins and exceptional error pieces have reached auction prices from several $100s into the thousands, with rare top-quality specimens achieving even higher results when collector competition is strong. That's the quiet power of a coin most people never look at twice. Top 3. Today, it seems simple. And yet, the 1972 Eisenhower $1 hides layers of history, design secrets, and collector intrigue that most people never notice. Many have spent it without a second thought. Others have stored it away assuming it's nothing special. But for collectors who know what to look for, this coin tells a much bigger story. When 1972 arrived, the United States was deep into a decade of change. The moon landing was no longer a headline, it was history. The Vietnam War was still shaping national mood, and America was adjusting to a new sense of identity in a rapidly changing world. In the middle of all this, the Eisenhower dollar quietly continued its run, representing strength, leadership, and one of the most ambitious achievements in human history. The Eisenhower $1 itself was already historic. It marked the return of the dollar coin after more than 3 decades. Named after Dwight D. Eisenhower, a 5-star general and president, the coin carried a sense of authority that few designs ever matched. By 1972, the novelty had worn off for the public, but that's often when the most interesting details emerge. The front of the coin shows Eisenhower with a calm, steady expression. There's no drama, no exaggeration. Just confidence and experience. It reflects a man associated with victory in World War II and leadership during tense global moments. The portrait feels grounded, almost timeless, which is one reason the design has aged so well. Turn the coin over and the story expands beyond Earth. The reverse features an eagle descending onto the moon, holding an olive branch. This image was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, permanently tying the Eisenhower dollar to space exploration. Few coins in the world can claim a direct visual connection to humanity's first steps on another celestial body. Now here's where the 1972 Eisenhower dollar becomes especially fascinating. Unlike many other years, this issue exists in multiple reverse design varieties. To the average person, they look the same. To collectors, they are completely different coins. Subtle changes in the way Earth appears behind the eagle, its shape, islands, and details, have created distinct types that collectors actively search for today. These differences weren't intentional marketing features. They were the result of design revisions and production decisions at the mint. And because most people never noticed them, many valuable examples slipped quietly into circulation or storage without anyone realizing what they had. The large size of the Eisenhower dollar also plays a major role in its story. These coins were heavy and easily marked. Even coins that never entered circulation often picked up scratches and contact marks from storage bags. That means true high-quality examples are far scarcer than mintage numbers suggest. Collectors closely examine surface condition, strike strength, and originality. Weak details in Eisenhower's hair or softness in the eagle's feathers can dramatically affect desirability. Coins with strong, crisp details immediately stand out among typical examples. Then there are minting errors. Some 1972 Eisenhower dollars show off-center strikes, double details, die cracks, or unusual planchet flaws. These errors weren't created intentionally, and that's exactly why collectors love them. Each error coin represents a moment where the minting process went slightly off course, and those moments can't be recreated. Another reason this coin remains popular is misunderstanding. Many people assume all Eisenhower dollars are common and worth little more than face value. That belief caused countless coins to be mishandled, cleaned, or spent. Over time, that neglect quietly reduced the number of premium survivors. The 1972 Eisenhower $1 also sits at an interesting point in the series. It was early enough to carry strong collector interest, yet late enough that production experimentation was still happening. That combination makes it one of the most studied years in the entire Eisenhower dollar lineup. Emotion also plays a role. For many people, this coin represents childhood memories, trips to the bank, or the thrill of holding a coin that felt important simply because of its size. As digital payments continue to replace physical money, that nostalgia only grows stronger. Collectors today don't just look at age. They look at rarity within condition, historical context, and design variation. A 1972 Eisenhower dollar that checks the right boxes can instantly move from ordinary to exceptional. Now for the moment everyone waits for. When 1972 Eisenhower $1 coins appear at major auctions, prices vary widely based on condition, variety, and special characteristics. Circulated examples usually sell for modest premiums, but high-grade uncirculated coins and rare reverse varieties have achieved auction prices ranging from several $100s to several $1,000s, with exceptional examples bringing even higher results when collector demand is strong. That's the hidden depth of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar, a coin that rewards those who look closer. Top 4. By 1974, America was deep into a decade of change. Confidence was being tested, the economy was under pressure, and the country was adjusting to a new reality after years of dramatic events. The space race had slowed, political trust was fragile, and everyday Americans were rethinking the future. And quietly, the Eisenhower dollar kept being minted, almost unnoticed. At the Denver Mint, the D-Mint mark matters more than most people realize. Denver was producing massive quantities of coins, but quantity does not guarantee quality. In fact, high production often leads to inconsistency. That inconsistency is where collectors begin to pay attention. The Eisenhower dollar itself was designed to honor a man associated with calm authority and decisive leadership. Dwight D. Eisenhower wasn't just a former president, he was a five-star general who helped lead the Allied forces to victory in World War II. His presence on a dollar coin gave it a seriousness few designs have ever matched. The portrait on the front of the coin is understated and deliberate. Eisenhower's expression is composed, steady, and confident. There's no dramatic pose, no emotional exaggeration. It reflects experience, restraint, and responsibility. For collectors, this portrait captures the spirit of mid-20th century American leadership better than words ever could. Turn the coin over, and the story shifts from Earth to space. The eagle landing on the moon, holding an olive branch, is one of the most symbolic images ever placed on U.S. coinage. This design was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, permanently connecting the Eisenhower dollar to one of humanity's greatest achievements. Few coins in circulation history can claim such a direct link to space exploration. By 1974, this design was no longer new, but it was still powerful. And the way it appears on each coin varies more than people expect. Some 1974 D Eisenhower dollars show strong feather detail and sharp lunar features. Others appear soft, flat, or uneven. These differences weren't intentional. They were the result of worn dies, high-speed production, and the realities of minting such a large coin. The size of the Eisenhower dollar worked against it. Because the coin is so large, it was especially vulnerable to contact marks. Coins stored in mint bags often hit each other repeatedly, picking up scratches before ever reaching circulation. That means many coins that were technically never spent still show noticeable surface marks today. This is why truly high-quality 1974 D examples are much harder to find than most people think. Collectors look closely at the open fields, the sharpness of Eisenhower's hair, the definition of the eagle's wings, and the presence of original luster. A clean, well-struck coin immediately stands out in a sea of average pieces. Then there are the surprises, the coins that don't follow the rules. Some 1974 D. Eisenhower dollars display minting errors such as off-center strikes, weak rims, die cracks, or unusual planchet flaws. These are not damage from use. They're production mistakes that slipped through quality control. Each one tells a story of a brief moment when the minting process went slightly off course. Public perception has played a huge role in shaping the fate of this coin. For decades, many people believed Eisenhower dollars were bulky, inconvenient, and unimportant. Because of that belief, countless examples were mishandled, cleaned, or spent without a second thought. Ironically, that neglect helped reduce the number of truly premium survivors. There's also nostalgia at work. For many people, the Eisenhower dollar represents childhood memories, bank visits, coin collections started and forgotten, or the simple thrill of holding a coin that felt powerful because of its size. As physical money slowly fades from daily life, that emotional connection grows stronger. The 1974 D. Eisenhower $1 also sits near the end of an era. Large circulating dollar coins were on their way out. Soon, the United States would move toward smaller, lighter designs, changing the feel of American coinage forever. That makes this coin part of a closing chapter rather than a beginning. Today, collectors don't judge this coin by mintage numbers alone. They study survival rates, condition rarity, strike quality, and originality. A well-preserved 1974 D. Eisenhower dollar can look dramatically different from the average example most people remember. Now comes the moment everyone waits for. When 1974 D. Eisenhower $1 coins appear at major auctions, results vary widely depending on condition and special characteristics. Circulated examples typically sell for modest premiums, but high-grade uncirculated coins and notable error pieces have achieved auction prices ranging from several $100s to several $1,000s, with exceptional specimens reaching even higher amounts when collector demand is strong. That's the quiet power of a coin most people overlook. If this video made you look twice at a coin you once ignored, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because sometimes, the heaviest coins carry the deepest stories.